Hello, everybody. It's Just in Case of American Newscape, joining our friend and media personality, Jerry Maldonado, back for another installment of Meatball Therapy. And let's remind everybody, this is the last episode of 2024. So,
Yeah, I'm gonna see you next year, Meatball. We're gonna make things work, man. But yeah, no, show number 90th,
wow.
and it's awesome. It's awesome. I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be here. Indeed.
Well, I am too, Jerry, and I, I have a semblance of pride about this show because I think it has a message, and I think that message is reoccurring and needs to be put out there.
Yeah, two meatballs at a kitchen table is about what it is to me. But
Two.
with a lot of logic and simplicity to life that you and I have mastered in our own little realm of thinking, and we love sharing that. I love sharing the information. I really love just it juices me to come on here and to share with my Facebook audience, with your audience. It's just the secrets we weren't told as kids. We weren't told this stuff um, that could have brought so much peace. But in essence, we can help one, we can help another, and we'll just move on. The energy just emits everywhere.
Well, in all transparency, it's simple because that's who we are. It's not by
Yeah.
design, it's just the way we put it on
There
the
is
table.
not, yeah, there's no curtains here, man. This is unedited meatball therapy 101 coming at you from wherever, but it worked for us. It's our own logic. And if you guys like it, take it, run with it. I mean, there's no fee except you got to pay me there, meatball. We're on show number 90. Looking for my check, man.
Looking for his remuneration. Hey, Jerry, let's resolve to do something about that, but resolutions matter. So why don't you explain why?
God, the old New Year's resolution. If you hyphen that word resolution or resolution, you're just redoing something that you've always wanted to do. And I have to admit, I mean, either I didn't listen to all these coaches back then trying to master this resolution thing, or if it's a marketing thing, I have no idea. But to me, nothing ever happened in my life on New Year's Eve that came to light until I realized that I was the source to bring it to light. In other words, you got all these coaches years ago. Just write it down and take action all day long on whatever resolution you want to have in life, and it's going to manifest. And undoubtedly, nothing. I didn't. I manifested nothing, and to me, it was getting more. This is what I mean. This is what people have to understand. You have to keep going because when you keep going, you keep growing. What I learned that your resolutions, they're not a farce. Your dreams are not a farce. And whatever you're trying to have, be, and do is not a farce. It's how you're projecting it out every day. It's going to determine whether you're going to attain it or push it away. In other words, from the inside out. And this is stuff that either it was commercialized, and you can attest to this, with your professional background in sports and everything else. They kept telling you it was a mental game. I didn't realize that. It's all a mental game that you have to become what you want inside for it to project to the outside.
Well, you're exactly right, and life is a mental approach. You touch on my athletic background from time to time, but I was really not that talented, but I did have a mental fortitude about it, so I had that advantage.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's all mental. I mean, every aspect of creation. This is what's so profound. This is why you and I come on. This is why I love doing my show, America's Mentor. And the fact of the matter is, what we've been taught from the outside in, and we've said this before on your show, my show. I've said it 1,000 times. Instead of from the inside out, that inside out is the creation point. It's our source. See, yeah, it may sound passe to people, but to realize that we have all the power. Fine. You want to use New Year's as a to start anew. That's fantastic. Or you can do it right now. I mean, whatever you want to do. But you have to come to the conclusion. You have to redo what you're thinking about. You have to redo what you're feeling every day. And to do that takes, in your case, with your professional background in athletics, repetition,
Yeah.
mental repetition. Your mental diet should be 10 times more important than your actual physical diet. It all starts within every facet. It wasn't until I learned that and started to apply that and adapted that, then the goal started to make sense because everything I wrote down, believed, perceived, I achieved. And it's really that simple. Everything is an inside job. Everything that we have, be, do, create all starts within. And when everybody realizes that, they're only attracting their equal in everything they do, and they realize what they're bringing to light.
Well, you're exactly right. And we're not born with that gift. It's a revelation. We have that moment in time where we start
Great
to
point.
have these micro
Great point.
revelations, and that's probably what this show should be called, Revelations, that send us on that path. And it's all learned behavior. All learned behavior. For you and I, it's ingrained. Who was it that ingrained it in us? We ingrained it in ourselves.
But how do we do it? I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. We did it by redoing it and
Well,
redoing it and redoing it. We
well,
didn't take no for an answer. And this is what people have to realize for themselves. You don't take no for an answer. If you want something, if you desire something, it's not the physical part that's going to bring it to you. It's the mental part that's going to create the ways to bring it to you. And that's a hard revelation to come to, and that the book of Revelations depicts that perfectly in so many ways, because we have to resolve the old issues to bring about the new resolution that you're trying to attain. And when people can grasp that epiphany in their life to realize what they've been doing wrong. That's why you have to keep going to keep growing. You have to keep redoing and trying until you finally realize internally, mentally, you could be blocking what you're trying to attain through past hurt, pains, blocks, whatever you want to call it. But your mentality indeed creates your physicality.
when I simplify, I say baby steps, but it's increments. We make this growth in increments, and that's all. It's redoing. I mean, it's learned behavior. It's what we're, and
Right.
we thrive in it.
Again,
We thrive in that opportunity to learn this.
right. You're exactly right. It's learned behavior. And until people realize maybe it's me. I don't know. Maybe, and it just seems that people have given up way too early on what they're trying to attain by watching way too much television. They're watching the interest rates are high. And I mean, they're watching way too much negativity, which in turn is getting ingrained into their subconscious mind that's impeding the process. Of course, Christmas was yesterday. I had my daughters here, made them breakfast. And each one of them has been conditioned individually. I got one who's up and hyper. I got one who's down. The economy sucks. I mean, and so I'm trying to get this parable, and I got my oldest one who's sitting there saying, "Dad's cool." So I got three different personalities going on here. One that watches the news, which is my youngest one, who's all into the energy field and understanding. My middle one, my CEO, my mental strong point is the most negative thing on the planet. And I got my oldest one is just passe and just saying it's all cool, it's all dad's job. But when you realize that what you're putting in is going to come out, whether it's the information you're getting. So why not create a resolution of learning who you are? When you learn who you are, you're going to realize what you're attracting. You're going to realize every facet, every flaw that is deterring you from attaining those desires that you write down or journal every day. It's the analysis of self that people are so afraid of, that they're afraid to start dictating that true person because they're going to realize some harsh truths. That's the epiphany. That's when you realize, wait, I'm completely and utterly blocking everything I'm trying to attain by what I perceive myself as. Ask any rock star. I had the great opportunity to interview the the Ted Nugents, and other rock stars like himself. It was all an inside job. They played 1,000 shows inside before they actually played the stage outside. Ask anybody who's successful in their own way, mind you, doesn't have to be as a monicum of monetary success. But they've all played their life on the inside the way they wanted it, and it just manifested on the outside.
Well, and people need to understand that you and I think we do have a good grasp of ourselves and understand ourselves, but we still see our shortcomings. So even in what we're accomplishing, we still recognize that we have shortcomings, and we always can work on stepping around them, trying to improve those weaknesses that we have, and learning how to deal with it. And that's where self-analysis, now I used a big word that I shouldn't have, but you know, in simple terms, I'm always looking in the mirror. What am I looking at? I'm looking into my soul is what I'm looking at, and
Yes,
giving
yes,
myself a
great
fair
point.
assessment, and trying to. And some days I'm better at it than others, and some days I'm too sexy for my shirt, but those days are far and few between.
I thought you were really getting serious for a moment there.
I was.
Then you change the topic.
I am. I
But no,
know.
no, you're right. I mean, this is what people are afraid of. They're afraid to see who they really are. They think life's the problem, and they're making up these excuses why things are happening in their life when they just look in the mirror. And you and I have stated this. I mean, it's become repetitive and redundant in a lot of ways. But until you understand who you are, you can't attract what you really want in life because you have all these roadblocks of trauma and hurt and past experiences. I mean, this is what I journal every day. It's a direct reflection of who I am at the present moment. Am I projecting the right person? Am I projecting the right energy? A lot of people have a hard time asking themselves that question because they're too busy blaming everybody else and playing the victim mentality rather than the victor mentality. You start grasping that for yourself. You start understanding who you truly are. Life is not a game anymore. Life is just a field of energy that you are sending out every day. It may sound kind of imaginary, kind of thinking, but indeed, that's what Einstein was talking about. And that's why everybody laughed at him because they said, what do you mean universe? They thought their solar system. No, they're talking about the subconscious mind, the mindset, the creativeness. We're using that frontal lobe to create the most amazing life. But you got to get past the old you. Got to get past the person that you used to be to create who you want to be in life.
I think I realized why they were laughing at Einstein. Maybe he did that imaginary air quotes thing like you just did a few minutes ago.
Look at it. I mean, look at him. The guy was disheveled 24/7. But he understood. I don't know where he was depicted the closest thing to God, as they said in a lot of writings, because he understood with mathematical precision how things are created. And this is great because if people start to understand that and look on their guard and realize how truly powerful, because we all have the same power. It wasn't just him. His brain wasn't. We all have the same power. And like I do, I just dropped my pen somewhere.
Oh my
We have the
gosh.
same power to do anything we want. But until we understand that power, we start using it correctly, pointing it directly at what we want. It's not going to manifest. You get out of your own way.
Well, wouldn't it be fun to go back and actually be able to interact and take a honest look at people like Michelangelo, Einstein, Abraham Lincoln, because they did all manifest that. People were drawn to them. If you think about Michelangelo, it's hard to believe that he was even of this planet, but he really wasn't respected for who he was until centuries after his death.
Well, the good thing was he knew who he was.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's all that really matters, honestly. You know who you are. You're not looking for any kind of validation. What those guys had was the greatest gift. They didn't have any distractions like you and I have or the world has. There was no distractions back then. They picked every book that they read what they wanted to read, not what they were told to read. They picked every amount of knowledge they want to absorb, not what the world told them, but what they wanted to tell themselves. And this is the few things that people have to realize for themselves. We've all been distracted away from who we really are, try to conform to a society that's telling us how to be. It's those, how should we say, black sheep. I've always been a black sheep in my family, man. And I loved it because I always asked the question, why does it have to be this way? And, in an Italian family, when you ask a family member, you end up getting a backhand. So I got used to not asking questions and figuring it out for myself. When you
Well,
start figuring it out for yourself, that's when you start finding the answers and you can just learn how to duck like I learned
yeah,
back then,
exactly,
man.
exactly. Same thing I learned. I learned how to duck. But
Seeing
we
my
have,
mom, I said I would I naturally see her. Hey, mom, how are you? What's
yeah.
going on? It's a natural reflex, man.
Well, but you brought up a valid, very valuable point. Einstein and Michelangelo, they weren't told what to read, and neither are we. We're at the
Yeah,
point in our life we have that luxury. We
but we
can,
learned. We had to learn though.
yeah,
You and I. I mean, a lot of us. I forgot who said. I'm not sure if Picasso said it. I dream my painting, then I paint my dream. If people can get to that kind of mindset of everybody wants independence, but we're watching the freaking news. I don't. Not me per se. You're out there, yeah, I want to be independent. I'm a diva or I'm whatever, but yet you're watching other people and you're imitating them. So all I'm saying is you have your own personality for a reason. We have our own uniqueness for a reason. What my quest with America's Mentor and with your show, and just to say, look, we have our own fingerprint, use it our own way, and realize how truly powerful we are, and that we have the creativeness, but we got to get past our own friggin' way. We got to get
yeah,
past the past thinking. So if you want to have some kind of resolution, which is great, it's a starting point, that's fine. Focus on who you are and what you're thinking about all day long. And you realize what you're attracting all day long.
yeah. That law of attraction. The longer I've known you, the more I recognize it, and through various stages of my life, I go back and reflect on them. But it's very powerful indeed. And and
It's a great starting point. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
well, no, it's and you would certainly phrase it better than I am. But if you're putting out all the negativity, that's exactly what's going to come back to you. And
Well, you've answered the question.
yeah, I
You've
know.
answered the question. There's a law that governs the law of attraction, and that's basically the law of vibration. And this is exactly what a great point that you brought up. People think the law of attraction is like attracts like. It's a great starting point. But the law of vibration is the energy from your thoughts you're emitting every day. Look at you and I as people who all we want to admit all day long is good all day long. We understand that our thoughts create things, not from our thoughts, but the feelings about the thoughts that creates things. And this is what Einstein was talking about in his quotes. Everything is energy, and that's all there is. I'm not even sure if that was him, but him and Tesla basically thought the same. And I wasn't sure, I'm pretty sure Tesla said it, but Einstein understood it. They realized the power of the energy we emit because we're the power source on what we're creating in life. And people have to really, I mean, this is my passion. When you grasp what kind of energy you're sending out every day, you'll realize what you're attracting every day.
Well,
I got a
absolutely,
nose itch.
absolutely. They tried to teach us when we were little that we're made up of I'll say a billion electrons, and an electron is an electrically
Yeah,
charged particle.
that we have control over every single one of them and the atoms and the DNA. We can literally change our gene structure by our thought process. And people have to get past that theory that you have a bad gene. No, you got a mindset, got a bad mindset, meatball. That's the problem. You get past that thinking process, yeah, which indeed it collaborates with every cell of our being. I mean, you look at anybody, their physicality of a person, you can see exactly what they're thinking about. You can see it in their eyes and in their figure and their stance and who they are as a person. That's just their thinking pushed out. you start attaching your dreams and your goals and your feelings about attaining those. You start pushing them out. I mean, life can only give you what you give it. That's your like attracts like, in the law of attraction sense. It's just your mirror effect on who you think you are.
Right, right, right. Well, Jerry, I think we've covered a lot of ground in this wrap up episode of 2024. Yes, that's what I've said. Wrap up. Not to be confused with
Yeah.
last week, but
Blessed friggin' year we had. A blessed year. I wish that upon everyone. Um, to end this year or this second with an attitude of gratitude, understanding of who you are, pushing that narrative out every day, and realizing, yeah, there is a better place for me, but it starts all within me. I'm the source. I'm the person that creates it all in my life. You take responsibility in life, you create the most amazing opportunities from taking responsibility.
right. And I'd like to wish everybody incremental growth. It's something we all need, and make that growth for the positive.
And happy New Year to all of you guys. I wish a world that thrives is a world that survives. You get to that point in life where all you think about is thriving in everything you do. Put a couple of billion people with the same mindset, the collective consciousness. My goodness, what a world it would be.
Absolutely. Well, Jerry, thank you, and Happy New Year to you and yours, as
You
Gomer
too,
would
indeed.
say. So, hey everybody, this has been Justin Case and Jerry Maldonado bringing you Meatball Therapy. We want to thank our Facebook audience for joining us through American Mentors Radio. Thanks for joining us. Remember, additional information and links provided in this video is read more. Today's the day to subscribe to this channel. Please learn more about Jerry Maldonado and Meatball Therapy when time permits.